Okay, here we go. Section 3, solving two-step equations. Every equation that you have solved thus far has been one step. You move one thing over. We did talk about some to where you had to do a couple of things that you could probably technically call a two-step equation. But today is solving true two-step equations. Sometimes there are more than just one variable, or excuse me, sometimes there's more than just one value on the side of the equal sign with a variable. When there are multiplied values, there's a certain order, or excuse me, when there are multiple values, I thought I had a typo there. When there are multiple values, there's a certain order that must be followed to solve the equation. When there are only two values, we follow these steps. This is very important, guys, that you know what order to go in. This ranks up there with Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. This is the Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally of solving equations. Okay, we don't follow those same steps. We get rid of parentheses first if we have them. But for two-step equations, do you notice it's kind of backwards from Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally? Step 1, get rid of addition and subtraction first if possible. Step 2, get rid of multiplication and division. Can we remember that? That's all that you have to remember today. And I will be asking you over and over and over, what do we get rid of first? And you're going to tell me, and this is one of those times where I say something 7 or 8 times, and then hopefully whenever I ask you on your homework, you don't go, I don't know. First step, get rid of addition and subtraction. Step 2, get rid of multiplication and division. That's the biggest thing to remember about today's lesson. Let's work some problems. Two-step equations. Here we go. First problem says 15y plus 31 is 61. Getting ahead of myself. We're working our way up. This entire chapter is, I think I told you, is solving equations. We started with little one step, we go to 2 steps, and then we're going to be solving that might have 3 or 4 steps, that might have 5 or 6 steps. We're working our way up to tougher equations. When solving an equation, you move over addition or subtraction first. So look at this problem. 15y plus 31 equals 61. What are we trying to get by itself? The y. So what do we have to get rid of that's on the same side as the y? A 31 and a 15. Correct? What is the relationship between 15 and y? They're being multiplied. Does everybody see that? You have 15 times y. Do we get rid of multiplication first? No, we get rid of addition and subtraction. So what number there are we going to get rid of first? We're going to move over plus 31. When you move over plus 31, it becomes minus 31 and it's gone. So we now have what? We have on the right side of the equal sign, we have 61 minus 31, which is 30. What's left over here? And then do you see it's the same problems that you worked yesterday? Second step, we're going to get rid of this multiplication. When I move multiplication over, what does it become? So we're going to do divided by 15. So y equals 2. Get rid of addition and subtraction first, then get rid of multiplication and division. Any questions? Do what? Every problem's about that easy. To check yourself, how can you check yourself on these problems? There you go. Plug 2 in for y. And let me explain something to you. If we continue missing these at the rate as we are now, I'm going to take on your homework and I'm going to force you to take the number that you got as an answer and plug it back in and actually work it out to see. Okay, it's going to be more work on you. So watch this. We think that y is 2, so let's take out the y and put a 2 there and just see, is that a true statement? 15 times 2 plus 31. 15 times is 61, so check mark. And you can do that on your homework. Okay? Go back to your original problem, take out the variable, put in what you think it is, and see, do you get a true statement? Next problem. Negative 35 equals 2p plus 10. Negative 35 equals 2p plus 10. Randy, what are we trying to get by itself? What are we trying to get by itself? P. Listen, guys. The main goal of these is to get the variable by itself. In order to get p by itself, Anthony, what are you getting rid of? Is that all? The 10 and the 2. To get p by itself, we got to move 10 and 2 to the left side. Anybody, what's the relationship between 2 and p? Multiplication. Do you get rid of that first? No. Addition and subtraction first. How do you get rid of plus 10? move it over and it becomes negative 10. You see again the frustration. Over and over and over. Do we get rid of multiplication first? Yes. No. Addition and subtraction first, multiplication and division second. So move plus 10 over, it becomes minus 10. What do you have over here now? Negative 45. Bring down the equals. What are we left with on this side now? 2p. We move the 10 over, all that's left is 2p. What's the last step? We got to move 2 over. Since it's being multiplied, we divide. Do the opposite. The opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. The opposite of addition is subtraction, and vice versa. So if you actually type that in your calculator, you do get negative 22.5 or negative 22.5. Either one are fine. Next problem says negative 4.2 equals m divided by 2 plus 1.8. Again, if you know the two steps, all we've got thus far is two steps. What do you get rid of first? Addition and subtraction. In this case, we have addition. So what are you going to move first? We're going to move 1.8 over first. When 1.8 goes across that equal sign, what does it become? Minus 1.8. And you can mark it out. You moved it. What type of problem is that? Debt. So it's a bigger debt. So negative 6.0, or just 6, equals what's left on the other side? That's it. That makes sense. Multiplication and division comes second. What are we getting rid of now? 2. We move it over. Since it's divided by 2, it becomes times 2. So what do you have? Negative 12 equals m. M is negative 12. These pretty easy. Let's see. X divided by negative 4 minus 3 equals 10. Joey, what gets moved first? Good. We're moving minus 3 over. And read for me now, Tommy, what you're going to have left after you move the minus 3 over. X over negative 4 times 3 equals 10. Okay, look at that. Why? It don't look right, does it? What's this arrow here for? Because I was wanting to move it to the other side, right? So try that one more time, Tommy. X divided by negative 4 times how do you move a minus 3 over? You change it to plus 3. So therefore, is it on this side of the equal sign anymore? No, it's gone. So that's where the x divided by negative 4 comes from. When you move minus 3 over, it becomes plus 3. You already have 10 over there. 10 plus 3. Any questions? Next step, Lissa, try it for me. What am I going to move? How am I going to move it? This is division. Times by negative 4. And make sure, guys, a lot of people asked me yesterday, well, do you change it to a plus 4 when you multiply? No. You do the opposite operation. Sure, I told you that a negative and a minus is the same thing. It is. But we're dividing by the negative 4. When you divide by negative 4 to move it over, you're going to multiply by negative 4. So therefore, we're going to do times negative 4. That gets rid of it. X equals positive times negative is a negative. 13 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry the 1. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, and 1 is 5, so 52. Any questions? Next one. Negative 40